Hey everyone, this video is going to show you how to use MLA in-text citations within your writing. So in-text citations are not works cited pages. Rather, in-text citations come inside of your paragraphs, inside of the paragraphs and sentences that build your article or your essay or your written project. So in-text citations come within a sentence, they come at the end of a sentence. You'll write a sentence, you'll quote someone, you'll need to attribute that quote or cite that quote, and you will use an in-text citation to do so. So the most important thing is that you're not going to have to remember exactly how to cite in every single situation in text. Rather, what you have to do, your goal for this course, is to remember and memorize the resource and the tool and the text that will tell you how to do so. So you don't have to remember how to cite in every single situation, but you have to remember either the Purdue OWL MLA website, which I'm going to show you here in this video, or some other resource that will show you proper MLA ways to attribute a citation inside of your text. So what you're looking at right now is the Purdue OWL MLA website. You can find this website by going to owl.purdue.edu/owl/research, or you can simply just Google Purdue OWL MLA. And this is considered the gold standard of citation practices. The Purdue OWL website is where you should go for this course if you are having trouble citing something inside of the text. So when you go to the Purdue OWL website, it's going to look just like this. Ignore all of this. What you really need is right down here. You'll see there's a tab for MLA style. You'll see there's one for APA. There's one for Chicago. You don't need any of those right now. You're focusing on MLA. MLA is the Modern Language Association, which is a organization of English teachers which sanctions and decides how things should be cited in English papers, such as what you're doing for this course. Anyways, so when you go to the MLA site on the Purdue OWL website, I'll link that in the bio here, you will scroll down and you should go to MLA in-text citations, the basics. So MLA in-text citations, the basics, it's one of the tabs on the left-hand side. We're using, in this case, MLA 7, but it's not really going to change very much. You'll see that the basic rules of MLA in-text citations are that you use what are called parenthetical citations. So that's where you use a parenthesis to cite something. So the Purdue OWL MLA website will give you general guidelines to follow. In-text citations are pretty simple though, so we're just going to go through and do them. You'll see this example. Wordsworth stated that romantic poetry was marked by a, quote, spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings, end quote. You'll see the parenthetical citation, parenthesis, that 263 is the page number, not the year of publication, nothing like that, just the page number. You end the parenthesis and the period goes at the end. The period always goes at the end in just about every case. Wordsworth stated that romantic poetry was marked by a, quote, spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings, end the quote, parenthesis, the page number, end the parenthesis, and then the period. So it's as simple as that. You see in this case we have the same thing, except in this case we don't have William Wordsworth's last name. William Wordsworth is a romantic poet. But we don't have his last name in the sentence, so since we don't have his last name in the sentence, his last name has to go in the citation. So we then have the end of the quotation, parenthesis, the author last name, and you'll never use the author first name in an in-text citation. It's always going to be the author's last name, and then simply the page number. You're in an in-text citation, you'll never use the year. It's always the page number, and if there is no page number listed, always look for one. Make certain it's not there. It oftentimes is, and it's hiding. But if there's no page number, you can just ignore the page number. Then use the end parenthesis and then a period. So that's a pretty standard in-text citation. So when something doesn't have a known author, you'll follow a different format, but you'll see that there are all of these different ways to cite in different situations. The good news is you, again, don't have to memorize each and every one of them, but you do have to know where to find this information. You're going to do a lot of researching in this course, and as you do, you'll have to cite in lots of different situations, lots of different texts, lots of YouTube videos. You'll have to cite multi-volume works. You'll have to cite different texts. You'll have to cite websites. You might have to cite a screenplay. You might have to cite, internet source, all of that. And the Purdue OWL website is how you'll do that. So just to reiterate, let's do some quick examples. In this case, we have the sentence that features a quotation. Scholars have argued that Facebook groups, quote, help individuals to find a community to belong to. So in this case, we have the quotation. We're citing from someone. We'll just go with myself. We'll call, my last name is pronounced Richter. We'll pretend that I wrote this sentence and that you're a student and you have quoted me. You've quoted my work, my research. Scholars have argued that Facebook groups, quote, help individuals to find a community to belong to. So we'll do end the quotation, and then we'll have at the very end of the sentence, always at the end, a parenthesis. Then we'll type out the author's last name. Make sure you spell it correctly. Never use the first name in an in-text citation. Always use the last name. So end the quotation, use a parenthesis, author last name, in this case Richter. We'll come up with a page number. My lucky number is 24 for Kobe Bryant. Richter 24, page 24, end the parenthesis, and then a period. The period always goes at the end. So in this case, we use the author last name, page number, end the parenthesis, and then a period. So in this case, let's scroll down. Let's go to this third example. Well, let's go to the second one. Some scholars argue that Facebook groups help people to come together on the basis of shared interests. So this is a paraphrase. There's no quotation here. You don't see any parentheses. So in this case, we still need a last name, and we still need a page number, so it would be exactly the same. It would be just the same. Down here in this third example, though, it's going to be slightly different. In this case, we already have the writer's name, Jacob Richter, featured in the sentence. Because we have the writer's name in the sentence, we don't actually have to use the writer's last name within the in-text citation. So in this case, it would just simply be page 24. So still not going to use the author's first name, still not going to use the year of publication, none of that. It's going to still just be the page number. And if there is no page number, you can either use page 1, or you can just include no page number at all. But in that case, I would probably cite the last name in this case, even if you don't have to. Then finally down here, what happens if you have a text that has two authors, or say multiple authors? So if you have two authors, you're just going to use the word and. So we can do Richter and Jones, 24. So that's just two last names. We can do Richter and Smith, 24. If it's page 105, page 105. But what happens if you have a lot of authors? Some of you will be doing research in the sciences, especially, are known for this. Disciplines like biology and chemistry and physiology and I almost said astrology, God. But the sciences are generally known for having lots of authors. There could be 10 or 20 researchers featured on one single publication. So in that case, the good news is you don't have to type out all of those names. You're going to find the first author. Unfortunately, the reality in academic citation practices is that the author who is listed first gets listed and is the only last name that's listed. So if I am on a paper that has 20 or 25 other authors, you're not going to have to type out all of them. But if my name is listed first, you're going to type my name out. You're not going to type the other 24 authors out, their last names out. You're instead going to use a very quick Latin suffix called et al, or abbreviation called et al. Et al just means and others, so this means Richter and others. That's going to save you from having to type out all 24 other names in this citation, and it's going to save your reader some time. So Richter et al, Richter and others, and then we'll go page 105, and then do your closing parentheses like you normally would. So that's just a brief overview on how to do in-text citations, on how to perform in-text citations using MLA formatting. It's pretty simple. It's going to be consistent across most contexts, but remember, you don't have to remember exactly how to use in-text citations in every single possible case. You just have to remember the resource, which is the Purdue OWL website, and the Purdue OWL website will show you how to cite using MLA. So best of luck with your citations. Good luck.